It had been a year since I remarried, and everything seemed to be falling into place. Or so I thought. My daughter Chiamaka was just 6 years old, and she was slowly adjusting to the new family dynamic. My wife, Ngozi, was everything I had hoped for: charming, beautiful, and seemingly caring. We met through some mutual friends, and after a whirlwind romance, we decided to marry. Ngozi moved into our home, and I was confident that we would build a beautiful life together. But beneath her warm smile and kind gestures, something felt off. Chemaka adored Ngozi at first, and I was hopeful that over time they would form a bond similar to the one I shared with my own mother. Little did I know that the Chamaka would be the one to uncover the truth about my new wife, something that would shake our world to its core. One Saturday afternoon, I went out to run some errands. I told Ngozi that I would be back in a few hours, leaving her and Chemaka alone at home. When I returned, the house felt different, tense. Ngozi was sitting at the kitchen table, nervously flipping through some papers, her face pale. Chemaka was nowhere to be seen. "Where's Chemaka?" I asked, sensing that something was wrong. "She's upstairs playing with her dolls," Ngozi replied quickly, her voice just a little too high-pitched. I felt a knot form in my stomach, but brushed it off. It had been a long week, and maybe I was just imagining things. But when I went upstairs to check on Chiamaka, I found her sitting on her bed, holding something in her hands. Her little face was flushed, her eyes red from crying. "What's wrong, sweetheart?" I asked gently, sitting beside her. Chiamaka hesitated for a moment before speaking. "Daddy, I saw something. I didn't mean to, but I had to tell you." She handed me a small, crumpled piece of paper. I unfolded it, and my heart dropped when I saw what was written: a list of expensive jewelry that Ngozi had taken from the safe in our closet, items that had been mysteriously disappearing over the past few months. The handwriting wasn't Chiamaka's but Ngozi's. My mind raced. How could I have been so blind? All the little signs, the odd behavior when money was mentioned, the unexplained trips, the constant excuses, suddenly made sense. But this was worse than I had imagined. My daughter, the one person I thought would be untouched by it all, had caught her red-handed. I stormed downstairs, the list still clutched tightly in my hand, and found Ngozi sitting in the kitchen, pretending to sort through papers. I slammed the list on the table in front of her. "Explain this," I demanded. Ngozi's face turned pale, her eyes widening. "What? What is this?" "Don't play dumb. This is your handwriting, and my daughter caught you. You've been stealing from me." "Why?" I could barely control the anger and confusion that surged inside me. For a moment, Ngozi said nothing. Then her voice trembled as she spoke. "I didn't want to do this, but I'm in a lot of debt and I didn't know what else to do. I thought I could pay it back, but it got out of control. I never meant for Chiamaka to find out." I stood there, stunned. My mind reeled as the truth hit me like a slap. The woman I had trusted, the woman I had married, had been using me, taking what didn't belong to her, thinking she could get away with it. And my innocent little girl had been the one to expose her. The following days were filled with tension. I didn't know how to handle Ngozi's betrayal, and Chemaka was deeply affected by what she had witnessed. I had to sit down with her, explain that it wasn't her fault, and reassure her that she did the right thing by telling me. But I could see how much the situation had shaken her. Ngozi packed her things and left that very night. But I knew the damage was done. Trust, once broken, is difficult to rebuild. I was left picking up the pieces, trying to heal with my daughter by my side. We had been through a lot together already, but this was our greatest challenge yet. Chiamaka and I spent more time together, reconnecting in ways we hadn't before. I made sure to tell her every day that she was safe, that nothing would hurt her again. Though it would take time, I knew that we would rebuild stronger and wiser. As for Ngozi, I never saw her again. She disappeared from our lives as quickly as she had come in. But I couldn't help but wonder how much of the woman I married was real. Had I ever really known her? Months passed and life began to settle into a new rhythm. Chiamaka and I found a way to be happy again, just the two of us. I eventually sought professional help to cope with the betrayal. But more than that, to focus on rebuilding the bond between me and my daughter. The scars from the past remained, but they no longer had a hold over us. We both learned that love and loyalty aren't just words, they are shown through actions. And so I started again, not with the woman I had thought I loved, but with the one, our son who truly mattered, my daughter, Chiamaka, who had saved me from making a terrible mistake. The weeks that followed Ngozi's departure weren't easy. I spent many nights lying awake, replaying everything in my head. How did I miss the signs? How did I let her into our lives so completely? The betrayal stung, but I also found myself feeling a strange sense of relief. It was over. And while Chiamaka and I still had a lot to figure out, at least we were free from the deceit. Chiamaka, for her part, showed resilience beyond her years. Despite everything she had witnessed, she remained the bright, optimistic child she had always been. She was my rock. We spent the weekends at the local park, sometimes just walking, other times sitting on the swings, talking about everything and nothing at all. It was our way of healing together. One evening, as we sat on the balcony of our small apartment overlooking the bustling Lagos streets, Chiamaka turned to me with a thoughtful look on her face. "Daddy, do you think I'll ever have a new mommy?" she asked, her voice tentative. Her question caught me off guard. She had been so brave throughout everything, and now it seemed like she was beginning to process it all. My heart ached at the thought of her asking this, but I knew it was only natural. "I don't know, my dear," I replied softly, "but right now it's just you and me, and that's more than enough for me." Chiamaka smiled, her little hands reaching for mine. "I like it when it's just us. We're good together, Daddy." Her words filled me with a warmth I hadn't felt in a long time. We were going to be okay. I didn't know what the future held, but I knew we would face it together. A few months passed, and life began to feel like it was slowly getting back to normal. I was busy with work, Chiamaka was excelling in school, and we both had a comfortable routine. But as life often does, it threw me another curveball. One afternoon, as I was leaving the office in Victoria Island, I ran into someone I hadn't seen in years, someone I never expected to cross paths with again. It was Funke, an old friend from my university days. We had lost touch after school when our paths diverged. Funk was always a strong, independent woman who had a way of seeing things clearly, and I had confided in her about some of my early struggles. Seeing her again after all these years felt like a twist of fate. We exchanged pleasantries, catching up on the years that had passed. She was now a successful entrepreneur, confident and thriving, and she looked even better than I remembered. But there was something more to the conversation this time. There was a sense of understanding, as if we both knew we had lived and grown in ways that the other could understand. So, how have you been? Funke asked, her smile warm. You look good, but something seems off. Are you all right? I hesitated. I had spent so much time hiding my emotions, putting on a mask for the world. But with Funke, it was different. She was a friend who had known me when I was younger, when I was still figuring out life. It's been tough, I admitted. My marriage ended. Ngozi. She wasn't who I thought she was. And Chamaka, she caught her stealing from me. Funke's expression softened, her eyes full of empathy. I'm so sorry to hear that, but it's good to know that Chamaka is okay. She sounds like a strong girl. She is, I said, my voice thick with emotion. She's been my rock through all of this. But I don't know if I'll ever be able to trust again. I don't know if I'm ready for that. Funke nodded thoughtfully. Trust takes time, Olamide, but don't rush it. Take it one day at a time. You've been through a lot, and it's okay to take it slow. Her words lingered in my mind long after the conversation ended. Maybe it was time to stop living in the past and start embracing the future. Maybe it was time to open my heart again, even if only a little. As the months went by, Funk and I started seeing more of each other. At first, it was nothing romantic, just two old friends reconnecting. But soon I began to feel something I hadn't felt in a long time: hope. Funke was kind, patient, and understanding. She never pushed me to move faster than I was comfortable with. But she made me realize that love could still be part of my life, even after everything that had happened. She respected the space I needed for Chiamaka, and we gradually built a bond based on trust and mutual understanding. One evening, as we sat at Lekki Conservation Center, watching the sun set over the lagoon, Funke turned to me with a gentle smile. I've always believed that people come into our lives for a reason, she said. Maybe we're supposed to walk this next chapter together. I didn't have all the answers, but for the first time in a long time, I felt ready to face the future. With Funke by my side and Chamaka's unwavering love, I knew we could face whatever came next. Chimaka and I grew even closer as time passed. The wounds from the past had healed, and the scars were no longer a constant reminder of the pain. Our family had been torn apart, but it had also been rebuilt, stronger and more resilient than before. Funke became a close friend to Chiamaka, and over time, Chiamaka saw her not as a replacement, but as someone who cared for her deeply. And although it took time, I realized that trust, true trust, was something that could be rebuilt piece by piece. Our journey wasn't easy, and it wasn't perfect, but it was ours. We had our ups and downs, but through it all, we had each other. And that, in the end, was enough. As the months went on, things between Chiamaka, Funke, and I continued to grow stronger. I had learned to embrace the present, and we found joy in the little things: laughter during dinner, long walks by the beach in Lekki, and weekends spent cooking jollof rice and fried plantains. It felt like we were healing from the past, and for the first time in a long while, I felt like I was living fully again. But as life often does, it had a way of challenging us when we least expected it. One afternoon, I received an unexpected call. It was from my old friend, Kayode, from the days when I used to run a small business in Ikeja before all the chaos. He'd heard about the situation with Ngozi and wanted to catch up. Ah, Olamide, how far now? It's been long. I heard about everything that happened. I'm so sorry, man. You have been through a lot, Kayode said with genuine concern. Thanks, Kayode. It's been tough, but we're pushing through, I responded, trying to sound upbeat. He continued, "Well, listen, I'm in Lagos now and I need your help with something. I know you've been through a lot, but I want to offer you a business opportunity. It's a fresh start, something we can both work on. What do you think?" At first, I was hesitant. Starting something new seemed overwhelming, especially with everything that had happened. But Coyote was persistent. "Olamide, I believe in your strength, and I know this could be a good thing for you. For Chiamaka, too. Just think about it." After the call ended, I sat down with Funk to discuss it. She could see the uncertainty in my eyes. "Do you feel ready to take on something like this?" Fonka asked, always so patient and understanding. "I don't know," I admitted. "I've been through a lot, and now I'm supposed to trust again with business, with people. But if it's a way to provide more for Chiamaka, I guess I'll have to consider it." Funke smiled warmly, offering support. "Take your time, but remember, sometimes taking risks is what leads to growth. You're not in this alone, Olamide." I took a deep breath. It was time to consider the future, not just for myself, but for Chiamaka. It was time to step out of my comfort zone and trust again. I met with Coyote a few days later, and he explained the business venture, a new tech startup that he had been working on, aimed at providing affordable digital services to small businesses in Nigeria. It was exactly the kind of challenge I needed, and I saw the potential for growth. It wasn't easy at first. There were long hours, difficult decisions, and a whole lot of uncertainty. But I had Funke's encouragement and Chiamaka's constant support, and I began to feel something I hadn't felt in a while, a sense of purpose. One evening, after another long day at work, I returned home to find Funke and Chemaka waiting for me with a warm dinner on the table. As I walked in, Chemaka ran up to me with her usual excitement. "Daddy, guess what?" she said, her eyes shining. "I got an award at school today for being the most helpful in class. I'm really proud of myself." My heart swelled with pride. "I'm proud of you too, my love. You're amazing." Chiamaka smiled, her innocence and joy reminding me of what truly mattered. It wasn't just the work I was doing, the new business, or the challenges I was facing. What mattered was the family we were building together. Funke, too, had been a great help in my journey, offering advice, listening when I needed to vent, and making me laugh when the pressure became too much. She was there for me and Chamaka in ways I never expected. What started as a rekindled friendship was now blossoming into something deeper. Months later, the business began to take off. Kayode and I built a solid team, and our company started making waves in the Nigerian tech space. But more importantly, I learned something crucial during this time. No matter how difficult the past had been, the future was something we could shape together. I sat down with Fonke one evening, reflecting on the journey. "You know, when this all started, I never imagined I'd be here. I never thought I'd find my way back after everything that happened with Ngozi." Fonke took my hand, her eyes filled with warmth. "Life doesn't give us what we expect, Olamide, but it does give us the chance to rebuild if we're willing to take it. You've come so far, and Chamaka is lucky to have a father like you." I smiled, feeling a deep sense of gratitude. Chamaka was thriving, and I could see her future blossoming in front of me. She had become more confident, more compassionate, and always reminded me that the love we had as a family was enough to overcome anything. Years passed, and the business continued to grow. Chiamaka, now a teenager, had developed into a bright, strong young woman with dreams of her own. We had our ups and downs, but we always had each other. Funky, too, remained a constant in our lives, and it felt like our little family was complete. I had learned that love was not just about being perfect or having everything go right. Love was about sticking together through the tough times, supporting each other, and finding joy in the small moments. It was about trust. Trust that no matter what, we had each other's backs. Chamaka, Funke, and I had built a new life together, one of love, resilience, and hope. And though we had faced hardships, we had overcome them stronger than before. And in the end, that was all that truly mattered.